Mark Van den Angen.
Hello, Marcus Aurelius Higgs.
Yes, Higgs. Have to tackle on that last part. Did you know that Martin Luther King, his real name was not Martin Luther?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was Mike. That's all right. I tag on that Higgs there just to remember my father. And yeah, nice to meet you. We have about two or three more of these, right, sir?
And we do. This is one, two, yeah, two more after this one. So it's amazing that we have traveled this journey of 23 chapters, and realizing that there's so much to talk about. And each one of these chapters are full of nice content for conversation
Mm,
and insight. So that's been a revelation for me. Um, I'm not too surprised, but at the same time, it's beautiful to witness it. You know, that we can really keep this momentum going, we can experience it, and we can put into practice what we hope this whole project achieves, right? Which is meaningful dialogue within the classrooms, and that teachers, professors are the ones that can hold space for discovery and inner development with students. So
yeah,
I think we've been able to demonstrate that and show the possibilities there pretty well.
I remember in the classroom, I would tell the students, you're going to forget many of the things that you read inside the text, but there's enduring knowledge. It's a design approach. And you're like, what will endure beyond the classroom? And we talk about the text, we talk about the characters, we talk about the people, and you always want them to reflect back on themselves. Because when they leave, it's like, oh yeah, I remember Kenna did this or Amar did this. What do I think about that? How will AI affect me? How will, collaboration and so on affect me? And there's a lot of enduring knowledge in this book. It's a very wise book, packed with a lot of wisdom. And yeah, it's been good to have you on the journey. I tell you that almost every time, and I mean that every time. I mean that in moments when I don't even tell you. So yeah,
Yeah, the sentiment is also felt on my end, Marcus. Yeah, and I
uh,
don't think there's ever enough appreciation we can give to each other. We can give to our community, our friends, family. Um, there's never enough, right?
apprecio. That's the apprecio. Apprecio means price or value. App means to give or put onto. Whenever you appreciate something, you're giving it value. And the things that you appreciate, they go up in value.
Appreciate and value. Oh, also nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It means to give value and to go up in value.
I like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, for those who would love to appreciate the work that Mark and I have done, um, we would appreciate it. Yeah, if you get an advanced reader copy, if you're open to it, give us some feedback. Actually, several books have gone out to several professors, thanks to Niels, or another a mutual friend or colleague. And you can go here to get the book. It's changing even to this morning. We're going to be launching in September with a new cover, new insides, new everything, but a lot of this same but new. That's what we say. And thank you to everybody who's been watching along the journey. People have been mentioning watching these videos. These may be edited in the future to go along with classroom supplement material, but wherever it goes, we want you to go and come home. Come home to who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're chapter 22 today, full circle,
Full
right? Every
circle.
good story has a beginning and an end, and a great middle, of course. And I think we're coming towards the end and kind of pulling the pieces of the puzzle together. You know, yeah. And I think all the characters are going through sort of a reflection on where am I now? Where am I today? What has this journey given me? Who have I become? and that's sort of where we are, I guess, right? Chapter 22. It's tying the pieces together and
For all
seeing.
the characters,
Yeah,
and then chapter 23 is for Kenna and his father.
yeah.
So yeah, full circle. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The cast of characters come to a resolution, each finding alignment in their different ways. With the school year ending, each is talking about the path they have taken and where they will be continuing on to. Today's conversation, just like Steve Jobs said, the dots connect themselves looking backwards. Oh man. Um, there's no particular quote for this chapter, but for the next 25 minutes, 20 minutes, we're going to be talking about, well, actually, the quote is from last chapter, trust yourself. Trust yourself. And we'll be talking about, we didn't mention Tanya, a character who comes on towards the end, who finds alignment with Amar, actually. They had a past together. And then we can touch on the projects that Rosie and Alex and where each of our friends are going from here. All right. Um,
So yeah, if we could just go back to this connecting of dots
yes, yes.
piece, I find that very intriguing. The dots connect themselves looking backwards.
Okay.
Uh, and indeed, that is typically how it happens, right? Is we go through a journey, ups and downs, and only afterwards we can take some perspective and go like, oh, I see how that all fits together, and why this had to happen for me to learn that, and for me to meet and cross paths with this person, etc. And I definitely feel that that is happening in this resolution, in this chapter of resolution. But I also feel that a lot of the characters have had or have done work and have had sort of the capacity to try and connect the dots looking forward as well.
Okay.
Um,
Talk to me about that.
and it's the capacity to hold potential for things to come together. For example, when Amar left the university, he chose to step out because there was misalignment at the values level. He didn't know what was going to happen and how everything was going to fall in place, but he had a sense that by closing that door, there would be new doors that would open.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really fully embodying that in his next steps and in his the actions that he was taking. And so to a certain extent, I feel that he's a great example of somebody who is not fully able to connect all the dots, but he knows that there is a picture there that is even more holistic than the one that he'd been living into until then, and even
Mm-hmm.
and one that is calling him forward to step even more into his potential. And I think simply holding that bigger puzzle, that bigger picture, is invites it to come into reality as well. So that capacity of seeing opportunities, like
Mm-hmm.
getting a phone call from Jane, or from Tanya, who is has this AI startup, and uh, he's pretty quick at seeing that this is not happening randomly. There is a purpose to it. There's a reason why their paths are crossing, and because of that level of trust, he's also able to quite quickly say yes to it and step into that new possibility. And I feel that that's part of the forward-looking dot connecting. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That does make sense. Um, what comes to mind for me is Tanya, who also calls him, and we actually just wrote about this. Tanya, who calls him, and for those who don't know, Tanya is an old schoolmate of his who's in the technology space. She has a SaaS or technology company, and she's looking for philosophers and educators. educators, and Amar contacts her just to catch up, and then they share what they're working on, and then there's some synergy, and they start something new. The point I was going to make is Tanya knows what she wants, and Amar knows what he wants. And like you said, they see how as it contributing to something bigger. So they're aligned with something bigger.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you know, I don't think they could actually do that without appreciating each other, like seeing the value of the other person and saying, hey, the sum of us together is more than us apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Where has this played in your life where you didn't understand a moment? And then when you looked back on it, you're like, you know, I could not have gotten here had I not experienced that moment back there.
I mean, there's many examples, and I would say all of them, what they have in common is moments of discomfort, you know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even pain or tension, or when things don't go seemingly the way that I would want them to. And there's a sense of something is pushing against me and pushing against my energy. Um, and I think those have always been filled with that the realization eventually that there was something new that wanted to come through, that this pushback was an invitation for me to slow down and to reflect and to shift something within me, a perspective or a belief that I was holding, you know, a way that I was looking at myself or the work or, you know, a relationship or whatever it is. And to be able to respond then from a new place and step into something new. And the more that I resist that pushback and try to fight against it, the longer it would take to be able to get that new insight, right? And so, you know, over the years, I think I've become a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
at at realizing that when something is stuck, that it's an invitation. You know, it's an invitation to pay attention. It's an invitation to slow down. And I think I'm, uh, yeah. There's less and less resistance to it and trying to push against it, and it's easier to get into that mode of slowing down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shifting. Um, but yeah, it's still very natural, you know, to feel the discomfort, right? And to not want to have that level of discomfort. Um, but yeah, I think it has to do with the connecting the dot backwards and forwards, right?
Yeah.
The the sooner we we realize that whatever is happening to us is actually an invitation to look forward, an invitation to something new, the mindset goes into what is wanting to happen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of my um, coaching uh, mentors or teachers. You know, he uses that phrase a lot, like what is trying to emerge, what wants to happen versus what do I want to happen, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's distinction there, right? I want something, I want this to move, I want, you know, the business to do this and that. And but maybe what wants to happen is something very different, right? What is the greater potential that wants to unfold? And when I shift my perspective from what I want to what wants to happen, it that is usually where the energy gets unstuck, right? And new things
Mm-hmm.
kind of happen, and I'm able to look more into the future and to be in this place of forward looking connecting of dots.
Yes.
um, does that make any sense at all?
It was all well received. I can tell you back what I heard.
Please, yeah.
Um, yeah, when and all the other past dots that I look at, it's whenever you start to linger on one of them, you could either take the resentment of it or you can take the lesson from it. And as soon as you start to take the lesson and have a forward vision, because in our relationship, and yeah, without getting specific of the past, it's just like the things that I've learned, and it's just like that moment was that moment. What am I going to learn to take on to the next? And it's
Hmm.
just like, oh yeah, okay. So I'm anticipating the next moment, but I see how that moment served me. When you say discomfort, where there
Yeah.
was strain or struggle, I mean, it was what it was, you know.
Yeah.
And when you have that forward vision, it's like, yeah, this moment will stay back here.
Yeah.
I see this with a lot of friends that I've had to leave in past moments, but like they stay stuck on that moment. But then the second thing you said was, we say what I want and then what is wanted. Um, in my personal beliefs, the reason I put myself as co-founder of my company is because I say I co-found it with the divine. And really
Mm.
what I'm looking for is the characteristic in the divine of my collaborators.
Mm.
That is the fruit of the spirit: peace, love, joy, patience, kindness, gentleness. And I'm collaborating with that.
Mm.
Because if I know that person is expressing it and I'm wanting to express it, that's what wants to emerge. I think that's what wants to emerge in the human spirit, like
Mm.
naturally.
Wow.
Um, and the word came to mind: prosperous, aspire, to breathe, breathing forward, going forward with hope.
Yeah.
That is how you prosper.
I absolutely love this notion of collaborating with certain qualities, certain values, that represent the divine, like having a partnership with, these energies, right? That I find that really inspiring. And I relate to it. I think that's also how I look at developing a business. It is in alignment, it's in co-creation with something beyond myself, right? And tuning in our ability to listen to what does it want from me, right? If I'm the sort of the hands, that can put something into motion, what does this inspiration want me to focus on, right? What does it want me to build, right? What does it want me to spend my time on? And I find that really a wonderful way, um, yeah, to manifest things, to bring things into life,
Y-
to build, right?
To mm, because I love words, I'm going to share with you two other words you may appreciate as well, or may I rather?
Yeah, of course. Please.
um, when you said there's what I want, and then there is what is wanted, right? And I understood
Mhm.
that as the divine, God,
Yeah,
spirit, source, however you want to frame it.
yeah.
But conflict comes from different wants, right? And when I use conflict, I use it in a very neutral sense. Like conflict's not bad or good; it's conflict. It doesn't mean against, but it's it's just two different things want different things. Conflict is inherent in relationships, but when we have alignment of intentions, again, tension creates conflict, but intention means it's directed tension, it's directed conflict. It means that we can express in this direction, you know?
Mm.
Writing the chapters, writing is effortful, but it's because we have intention and we start to move with each other. And when
Mm.
you rub up with other things, it's just like Rumi says, if we avoid everything that rubs us the wrong way, however will we be polished?
Yeah.
So you're right. I came to this collaboration. I show up in life with my own wants, but then the divine tells me it wants something. You tell me you want something. Um, My niece tells me, my brother, like different people want different things. And it's like, okay, I honor you as a creator. Let's create something together. Like, this is what I want. This is what you want. Let's see what comes out of it. And whatever comes out, it doesn't match, but I accept it and come on, let's continue creating. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a very nice reflection. And, just going back to the chapter, maybe,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, because we're here for the book.
No, I love that. It takes us off on a little tangent, but it's very relevant to what's happening in the book.
Okay.
There's two characters that I find where, that really stand out in this chapter 22, and that is the dean and the donor sprung.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's where I feel like the biggest shifts has happened versus how we've known them throughout the book. And they show up at the meeting, and they're kind of celebrating the success of this pilot project that Amar has been championing with the company, the startup, and they've been working with the university, and they've actually seen some great results. And they come, and it's a moment of acknowledging the progress that they've made. And you see the donor sprung still being quite sort of wondering if what Amar will think of him, and that there's still this sort of tension that is there from the past. But he shows up, and he shows some vulnerability. He basically says, I was in this place a couple months ago, and now I realize that I wasn't looking at things that clearly, right? You've helped me see the possibilities here, and this pilot that you've championed has helped me see how the university can evolve and why it needs to evolve. And because it's something very specific, very concrete, something that he could relate to, it opened him up. And I find that very beautiful in this chapter, is that you see how far somebody can come within a short period of time, and how those relationships can really that those bridges can be built. And the same thing with the dean pilot, who shares the little note that Amar had written when he left, right? The note that he'd left him, he kept that, right? Because it was meaningful to him. It was something personal. It was something that helped him as he was growing in his leadership. And the fact that he brings that up again and shares it with Amar and says, I've kept this note, right? It was meaningful to me, and it really helped me. Again, it shows their humanness, right? And it shows that at the core, we all have that desire to be seen. We have the desire for connection and for these human qualities to come through. So those are the two sort of characters in the book that I find, have where the circle is most visible, right? Where they've really come to a new place.
The dean and Amar. I think that's because in academia or in our professional lives, sometimes we don't get to show our humanity. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm just wondering about that. The dean gets to show it with his daughter. I love that full circle.
That's exactly, yeah. Tell me more about that one, because that's part of the chapter as well, right?
Yeah. I work with business professionals, but then I work with them in their family capacity. And even my father, I used to joke about, he was the president of college and he was a diplomat afterwards. But I used to joke with family members saying, yeah, no, I get to see him in his underwear. And you kind of look at a person totally different when you see them in their underwear. But with Dean Sprague, he was trying to handle like the university conflicts. But when he came home and he saw it in his daughter, and the wisdom she had and the stressors she had, the worries she had, it hit home figuratively in a different way. And the conversation that he was having with her throughout the book, and just seeing, oh, this is how it's affecting the youth. I think he showed up different at home, how he did for her, and then how he did for his students, or to the donors or to the shareholders. And then eventually there was a bit of a disconnect, and he came to be more authentic, I think, in his work. And maybe that was a circle that he was closing.
Yeah. Yeah. When things hit home, right? When that personal touch, when you kind of get touched in a personal way, I think, and you allow that to spread into other relationships and other parts of your life. That's so beautiful to see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it takes time, right? It's not immediate, right? I think there's sort of the things that happen behind the scenes and at home, and then often we close that door and then we show up at work with sort of a different persona, a different mask. But I think what's happened with Dean Pilot is that that differentiation has diminished, right? And sort of there is no, he's the same person, right? Whether he's at home with his daughter, and now how he is with the students, how he is with the donor. Like, it feels like he's much more grounded and aligned and authentic in who he truly is.
I wonder if, just like we talk about AI and the nature of work changing and the nature of education changing, just how we relate to each other. Because, like, people, I think it's when we grow into our professional lives, we're taking on a new culture, a new identity. But just like professional culture is changing, there's an idea in there somewhere, if you can understand it. But we're going to become, I feel, more relationship based. Or it's going to change in another way, because we didn't see the digital divide. Like, that's what's creating this epidemic of loneliness, like us being so separated. But I think AI is really going to disrupt a lot of things to say, hey, let's be intentional on creating community. Or at least that's me idealistically thinking.
Yeah.
I hope it takes it.
Yeah, we may, and I truly believe that we're going to rediscover the true value of connection and human interaction in a world where the technology is going to be so prevalent everywhere, that the thing that we're going to value most is the quality presence, the time, the deep human bonding, right, will become the scarce resource, the thing that we yearn for, the thing that we want to create more of. I have no doubt that that's actually where we're going.
And you're intentional on creating it, doing your part.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually. I mean, that's your company being at full potential. It's human development. Yeah. So we lead with gratitude and we leave with gratitude. I appreciate being with you on the journey, and now as we part ways, I appreciate being on the journey with you again.
Yes. Absolutely, Marcus. Thank you so much.
Anything you'd like to say in that end?
Yeah, no, it's just wonderful to be doing these sessions and to have been doing them so consistently. Like, I really appreciate the discipline and the commitment that we've had to do this every Friday. And there've been times where one of us wasn't available exactly on the Friday, and then we pre-recorded it and we launched it exactly on the right time. So there's this sense of really committing to this work and living it out and having the discipline to do that. So that's one thing when I look back, I always find that so beautiful, and a lot of the credit goes to you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, and we'll be here again next week, Friday, same time,
same place.
Slightly different conversation, slightly different focus.
For those watching along on the replay, you can get the advanced reader copy for coming home to who you are. Our launch is in September, and we'll be building up to that. And hopefully, we'll see you there. Until then, until we come home, be well. Be well. That's it.
All
All
the
right.
best.
All the best.